Viola and Sebastian are twin brother and sister, and Viola serves in the court of Duke Orsino after losing her brother Sebastian in a shipwreck. Captain of the wrecked ship is uh, a man who befriends Viola and supports her in her search for her brother. There is another sea captain. His name is Antonio. Once he was an once he had a conflict with the character Orsino, and but this conflict is mentioned only in the last part of the play when he meets Orsino. He uh, befriends Sebastian and tries to help him the best. Captains, both the captains, they are noblemen. Olivia, she is the countess, a high ranked woman. Orsino falls in love with her, but after the death of her brother, she is not in the mood to pursue her, you can say, uh, her matrimonial affairs. She makes vows to resist Orsino. But in play, we see as soon as she meets Viola, who is in disguise of Cesario, she falls in love with Cesario and his words, speech. So, rhetoric and love, that is also an idea in this. Maria, she is a maid, a waiting woman of Olivia. She is very, you can say, mischievous, naughty. She has an affair with actually Sir Toby Welsh, who is Olivia's kinsman. Uh, and through her intelligence, actually, she raises her status. Her character is contrasted with the character Malvolio, who is very serious in play, who is Olivia's steward, and she plays pranks with Malvolio to make him fool. And Malvolio, who thinks that through duty man can attain success. In the end, we see that even through intelligence, Maria succeeds, and Malvolio, through seriousness, fails. Sir Toby Welsh, Olivia's kinsman, uh, he is also Epicurean. That's why he likes Maria, and he wanted to arrange a marriage of Sir Andrew Ogchik uh, and Olivia. Reason is most of their parties they are actually paid by Sir Andrew. So Sir Toby needs, you can say, a financial sponsor. So Sir Andrew is that sponsor, and he thinks that this man, if he marries his, you can say, a woman in his who is his niece in relation, Olivia, that can be scored. And there are the, you can say, minor characters, servants, attendant, priest, clown. Typically, you can say, as in Shakespeare's other plays, clown appears here. In first act of the play, uh, and the first scene where Duke of Illyria, Orsino, enter, and there are other lords and Curio, and he begins his speech. By the way, the opening line of this play, they are highly popular. So I would like to share these. जो है वो, these two lines. If music be the food of love, if music be the food of love, play on, give me excess of it, that serve fitting the appetite may sicken and so die. If music be the food of love, play on, give me excess of it, surfeiting the appetite may sicken and so die. You can smell the notion of a sentimental man. A man, when he is in love, he behaves in this way. He tries to spend time in with the memory of his love, his beloved. He prefers to listen to those songs which actually cultivate, or you can say raise, his appetite for his love. Though apparent purpose is to get satisfaction, but in reality, the more he listens to music, the more he wants to see his beloved. And last is rationality, you can say, cannot convince him what can be the appropriate way. Orsino expresses his love for the Countess Olivia, whom he has been wooing, but she has a vow now for 7 years long mourning, and she has been in mourning first for her father and later for her late brother, and refuses to receive the messenger of Orsino's courtship. We can see actually before opening the play, it has happened that Duke has tried. Duke has tried to send his message of love through his messengers, and these messengers go approach Olivia and send the Duke's message. And she responds a cold response. Her cold response is that she is in mourning. If you have read the play The Bear by Anton Chekhov, you can recall there is a woman, Poppa,
Puba.
who is mourning after the death of her husband, and she also makes such vows कि मैं तो चार दीवारी में ही मर जाऊंगी और आइंदा किसी की शक्ल नहीं देखूंगी. But as soon as a man, someone of comes, greets her, she falls in love with him. So you can say making vows in isolation, they are different, and meeting human beings, that's another thing. So Olivia's vows are like that, but Papa sometimes she is called a hypocrite, but Olivia is not that type of character. But uh, making vows in mourning is a common point of both the characters. Here, the irresistible force of Orsino's passion opposes the immovable object, Olivia's self-seclusion. ये शुरू में मैंने बताया था कि शेक्सपियरियन कॉमेडीज में आपको इस तरह से थीसिस एंटीथीसिस पोजीशन जो है वो दिखाई देती. तो यहाँ पर एक तरफ ऑर्सिनो है जो कहता है मैं कभी हार नहीं मानूंगा, और लाजमी जो है ओलिविया को हासिल करके रहूंगा. और दूसरी तरफ ओलिविया हु इज इन सेल्फ seclusion, she has made a vow and she is uh, behaving like an immovable object who is not being influenced by anything. The richness and ardency of his fantasy, Duke's fantasy, seems natural, though it's exaggerated, definitely, but raises the question whether his love will persist in its present extreme form, because no extreme form exists in human life. uh, Extreme forms in any state, they are momentary, they are for some moments, for you can say few hours, days. If someone believes that this state will remain throughout the life, that's an exaggeration. खुशी भी इंसान को होती है, दुख भी पहुंचता है, और बड़े से बड़ा दुख साइकोलॉजिस्ट कहते हैं कि सिर्फ 3 दिन का होता है। अब ये कितना है, इसको हम अपने एक्सपीरियंस से देख सकते हैं। लेकिन वो स्टेट कायम नहीं रहती, वो कैफियत जो आपकी एक लम्हे में हुई थी वो बाकी नहीं रहती। यू कैन रिकॉल द स्टोरी, शॉर्ट स्टोरी बाय कैथरीन मैन्सफील्ड, द फ्लाई, where the character of Bose, he thinks that why he couldn't feel for his son or late son in the same way as he felt when he first heard the news of his death. But first time when we hear the news of death, that's a different state. Afterwards, we even repeat that incident, and that just seems, you can say, very amusing.
Yes, sir, it's very much true. When we pretend happiness on our face, it returns to our heart. At the same time, it's also psychological perspective, and I have experienced it. For instance, for 3 days, if I don't text someone, after 3 days, I feel better than first day of that disconnection.
Yes, states are momentary. ह्यूमन ह्यूमन लाइफ में जो भी चीजें आ रही हैं, जो कैफियत आ रही है वो वक्ती है, वो मुस्तकिल नहीं कह सकती, ये हमारा पॉइंट। सिमिलरली, ओलिवियस वोस also seem those that are made to be broken. Actually, that's grammatical error or typographical error, to be broken. Viola's arrival in Illyria is a cheerful scene in spite of her shipwreck. That's the second scene of this play. In first scene only there is you can say wooing and fantasy of Duke Orsino for Olivia, where he mentions how he tried to contact her and he couldn't, you can say, convince her, and then he makes a vow that uh, he will uh, do it. There is a line, love thoughts lie rich when canopied with bowers. And here you can say he is trying to understand that uh, Olivia's brother's death has actually captured her heart, and it will take some time to make a space or make an, you can say, access to her heart. In next scene, we see Voila with her captain. So in that scene, Voila uh, is not in sad mood, but though it's you can say a tragic incident that ship has wrecked and her brother has lost. In spite of her shipwreck and her separation from her brother Sebastian, she is in a cheerful mood and she feels his loss, hope, though she feels his loss of her brother, she hope emerges from her distress, and the captain's speech, while picturing a real shipwreck, is very reassuring. So, in this way, um you can say two. strains, uh, tragic strain after the loss of brother and shipwreck that is uh, made in line with a hope that she will find her brother at the end. Captain also tells about a relationship or what we say courtship of Olivia and Orsino. But the way Duke it narrated it in first, that was different, and here we see it's different. It's neutral account of Orsino's courtship and Olivia's vows, and that account uh, indicates his balanced personality. I mean, captain of the ship is you can say emotionally balanced man, while Duke is under the influence of his personal emotions. uh, Voila shares her desire to serve Olivia, but he says that Olivia does not entertain the people because she is in mourning. She and it's the Duke whom she can serve better, and he suggests that she should meet Duke Orsino instead of Viola. Sorry, again there is instead of Olivia. Viola plans to be disguised Cesario, and her disguise appears as a natural step and neither a deep laid scheme nor an irresponsible caprice. In you can say arts, mostly the things which are schematic, which have plans and plots, they are thought often negative. And the more spontaneous aspect, they appeal to human nature and they are thought more honest, frank, truthful. This scene suggests a deadlock of the first scene is to be broken. I mean, in previous scene, the situation that was shown that uh, ice is not melting. Here it seems that ice will melt, but how and in whose favor it is not yet clear. Contrary to the world of romance of the first two scenes, third scene familiarizes Olivia's kinsman and a reveler, Sir Toby, his dupe, Sir Andrew, and the lively character, Miss Maria. Andrew, Toby, Maria, they actually make a group. And as I have mentioned earlier, they are pleasure seeking people. Talk of Sir Andrew's quarrelsomeness anticipates his challenge to Cesario and his eager. Shall we set about some revels, anticipating their conflict with Mar, Malvolio's austerity? So revels mean uh, practical joke, or you can say pranks and something like that. In Maria tells about Sir Andrew that he is a fool, he is a great quarreler, and but that he has the gift of a coward to allay the gust he has in quarreling. This thought among the prudent he would quickly have the gift of a grave. So in this way they are planning to, you can say, enjoy hospitality of Sir Andrew and playing with a serious man, Malvolio. As a ludicrous suitor to Olivia, Sir Andrew gives scale to the noble Orsino, who now reappears. First, we are shown that Viola has become, that's actually the next scene, Viola has become Cesario and in 3 days gained Orsino's favor, while Duke is not inconsistent in his favors. And Orsino tells the page boy, Cesario, I have unclasped to thee the book even of my secrets. That's also, you can say, dramatic that within 3 days, a stranger who has just got the, you can say, job has succeeded to that point that uh, she has, I mean, Viola has got Duke favors. And favor is that Duke can share his secret soul with her. Though she is in disguise of a boy Cesario, the Duke's dwelling on the page womanly appearance launches the dramatic irony of their future relationship. Here, you can say, actually, plot of the play begins. A love seed is actually sown, and that seed of love is for Duke Orsino and Viola. There are some, you can say, super sorry, there are some surface meaning of the words and some, you can say, unconscious uh, adherence, attachment of the character. When Duke shares his secret soul with her, apparently it was with the character whom he likes, I mean Cesario. On the other side, he is actually sharing his secret soul with his closest partner. Second, Viola, who says that to call his fortunes thine, she makes also a commitment and shows her unconscious love for the Duke. Whoever I woo, myself would be his wife. कि जैसे तुम उसके लिए करते हो, अगर मेरे लिए करते तो मैं तो ऐसे आदमी की जो है वो कबूल कर ले. So she is impressed by Duke's works, or Duke's, you can say, love for Olivia. Between leaving Orsino and her encountering Olivia, the clown builds up the picture of Olivia's household. That's the next scene where, you can say, uh, Viola is sent to deliver the message of Duke. But before uh, Olivia and Viola meet, there is the character of Clown. Clown um prepares for later scenes since the clown's reported absence without leave prevents our surprise when we see him at Orsino's. By the way, this character Fool that is seen at both, you can say, characters. He Clown is in service of Olivia as well as Orsino. When Olivia enters, attended by Malvolio, the dialogue serves several purposes. The clown regains Olivia's approval and increases our own. His proof that she is the fool.
Sir,
Re-
sorry for interruption.
yes,
I have forgotten the role of Malvolio. Who is Malvolio in this play?
he is a steward of Olivia,
Okay.
and he is a very serious-looking man. He has a secret desire to marry Olivia. But there is a difference of ranks as well as their, you can say, temperament. पास्ट में कह लें कि जो ओलिविया थी वो मालवोलियो पर बहुत ट्रस्ट करती थी, इस वजह से कि वो बहुत ईमानदार है, ब्यूटीफुल है, सीरियस है, हर काम वक्त पे करता है वगैरह, इस तरह की वजह से। लेकिन अब जो मारिया जो एक करेक्टर है वो एक लेटर लिखेगी, और वो लेटर जो है ओलिविया की हैंड राइटिंग में होगा। और वो लेटर जो है पढ़ने के बाद मेलवोलियो जो है वो बिल्कुल एक फुलिश बिहेवियर आने वाले सीन्स में अपना लेगा। तो उसके बाद से ओलिविया की बिल्कुल उससे जो भी हमदर्दी भी थी वो भी खत्म हो जाती।
Yes, in this way, it becomes easy for Shakespeare to create comedy. How a serious man converts non-serious person with a single moment.
जी। इसमें कुछ जहाँ जहाँ थोड़ा सा लगता है कि जिस हमें तेजी से आगे बढ़ना चाहिए उसको मैं जरा जल्दी जल्दी कर रहा हूँ। जहाँ मुझे रुकने की जरूरत होती तो मैं वहां पे रुक के कर। Anyway, she's his proof that she is a fool redirects the audience attention to her rash vow and other speeches foreshadow its abandonment or her marriage. Olivia's generous readiness to be pleased with him sets off Malvolio's gratuitous hostility, which displays his self-love. Self-love is his master passion and the ground of his gully, and which also motivates the clown's revenge. Clown and Malvolio, they don't like each other. Clown, because he's a comic character, and Malvolio tries to be serious all the time. Then Voila's embassy and its effect upon Olivia is the heart of this scene. You can say when Voila reaches, first she is refused to meet uh, she's refused to meet Olivia, but Voila enters, and before Voila enter, Olivia orders for her veil, and she wants to listen to embassy or messenger of Duke. Olivia Wales allows Voila to expatiate on her own prepared speech, which is poetic. And the way she speaks, it's very, you can say, adorned speech, poetic speech, beautiful speech. And then she uh, shares her purpose. Purpose is she actually speak. I share this line. It is the more like to be faint. I pray you. Sorry. Uh, these were actually the dialogues of Olivia. If you be mad, be gone. If you have reason, be brief. It is not that time of moon with me to make one is so skipping a dialogue. That was command of Olivia ke, be brief if there is reason. If there is passion, be gone. She is not even ready to listen to him. But she speaks to your ears divinity, to any other's profanation. And then she says, most sweet lady, in Orsino's bosom, the first of his heart, let me see your face. Then she Olivia unveils when Olivia unveils and Voila speaks, "Is beauty truly blent, whose red and white nature's own sweet and cunning hand laid on? Lady, you are the cruelest alive, if you will lead these graces to the grave and leave the world no copy." Very much quoted line है इस play की, if you will lead these graces to the grave and leave the world no copy, मतलब कि अगर आप अपना सारा हुसन और सारा वकार, ग्रेस, डिग्निटी वगैरह जो है वो अपने तक ही रखेंगी और आपकी आगे औलाद नहीं होगी तो कोई फायदा नहीं होगा। ये पहला पॉइंट था दैट टचेस एक्चुअली द हार्ट ऑफ ओलिविया। एंड देन शी सेज, I see you, what you are. You are too proud. But if you were the devil, you are fear. My Lord and Master loves you. Oh, such love could be but recompense, though you were crowned the non-peril of beauty. And then she says, he loves her with adorations, fertile tears, with groans that thunder love, with sighs of fire. When Olivia resists that she does not love him, she says, if I did love you in my master's flame with such a suffering, such a deadly life in your denial, I would find no sense, I would not understand it. Make me a willow cabin at your gate and call upon my soul within the house. Cry out, Olivia, oh, you should not rest between the elements of air and earth, but you should pity me. So she actually awakens her soul in this way, and then she leaves uh, from Olivia. So that was not actually one continuous speech, which is actually here called prepared speech, but in fragments, parts, in form of dialogue. Voila's faithful utterance of Orsino's love for Olivia carries with it all the force of her own love for him. Love is an irresistible passion, whether it is Orsino's for Olivia, Voila's for Orsino, or Olivia's for their disguised Voila. Disguised Voila, whom she believes that he is Cesario. Actually, Olivia, instead of falling in love with Orsino, she falls in love with Cesario. So, love triangle that also plays a mischief in this play. Who for whom? So, first, at the end of first act, we can see that uh, there are actually two triangles of love. One is Olivia, Cesario, and Duke Orsino. In another love triangle, there is Voila, Olivia, and Orsino. In both triangle, characters are same, only disguise is making it two. In later part, we will see the third triangle when we see Sebastian, Sebastian, Cesario, Olivia, and uh, Viola, Olivia, and Orsin. You can say one real and one um, fictitious triangle are there, and with the entry of Sebastian, triangles are broken and pairs are formed. Sebastian and Olivia, they make one couple. Orsino and Viola and other. In second act of the play, you can say it's still part of exposing action because to a great extent main action of the play has been exposed, but without the character of Sebastian, because Sebastian does not appear in first part. In second act, Sebastian appears. He informs Antonio, who Antonio is his rescuer, a sea captain, and has become friend with Sebastian. Of his Sebastian tells of his parentage and history. Viola had good hope of her brother's safety, but he despairs of hers. That is also a contrast. First speech of Viola and shipwreck, captain of the shipwreck, where Viola shares her hope that she will find her brother. Sebastian appears, but Sebastian is not in a hope. He feels that he has lost his sister. He praises the beauty of her mind, mean Viola's mind, and audience who are enjoying actually that scene, conscious of Sebastian as Viola's loving brother and Antonio's beloved friend, that they are not impelled to see in him Olivia's future husband. Even his statement that he is bound to the Count Orsino's court with its obvious promise of situations of mistaken identity is overwhelmed by Antonio's soliloquy, which ends by promising an element of danger and enmity. Antonio actually speaks for his friendship, but that seems more, you can say, of love for a man. That can be an exaggerated account, or it can be taken in modern world, but it was thought that captain of sea captains of the ships, they were of that type of character